Hello, good morning. This is a Math 10 summer class. All right, this is the second last lesson. We learned about linear function. I just want to redo it again, okay, because I hear some of you want to learn a little bit more about linear function, okay. Now, I put it this way, showing grade 10 and grade 11. In grade 10, we learn about linear function. Grade 11, we move on to quadratic, okay. So, and then I'll talk about different forms and all that, and hopefully you'll understand what's the point of learning all this. All right, math is a study of different relationship. Okay, function describe relationship between two variables, x and y. So look at the formulas here. For the linear one, you have just x and y, all right, different form x and y. You just have x and y. Whenever you have just have x and y is a linear function. When you have y and x square, look at here, and then for the factor form, oh, there's no x square, but you have x times x, that's also give you x square. So when you have y and x square, it is a quadratic. When you have x square and y square, it is a circle. So you're just learning different kinds of relationship, and then learning just how they will look like, how do you graph them, what are some property. And different form is just showing different ways of writing the same relationship, but then different form will focuses on different characteristic of the function. So let's look at different form that we study right now. Let's start with the general form. So the general form is the uh, just write down x and y. Okay, like for example, the general form for linear is ax plus b plus c. So we just use capital letter, where a is whole number. So we expect a to not be negative number, and b and c are just integer, which means they can be negative number. Now, when you study this form, you also have ax squared plus bx plus c in grade 11. And then, but for this one, they have a special meaning. It means the y-intercept. All right, so you just learn about all this form and then learn about what do they mean. And then in here, the A will tell you the shape. Okay, well, in grade 11, you actually don't use capital letter. You use small letter for them. Okay, there's a reason for that. You will see in a minute. So we just use small letter A, B, C. Now, for standard form, we have A and P, Q. Okay, they just pick some letter so that they can represent them. Okay, PQ is the vertex. And then notice there's a negative sign here. It's significant, right? The form is there for a reason. So it's negative sign. Or how come it's like that? Because it is put in that way so that they can have PQ happen to be the vertex. Rather than asking how come this form give you the vertex, the reason is if it's not, we won't be using this form. We put it in this form so that it will show the vertex. And then we're having the same A here, which tell you the shape of the parabola. Now, back into our grade 10, okay, we just want to learn about linear. So we have mx plus b. So in here, b represent the y-intercept. When you put it in this form, this number here will be the y-intercept. And then this thing will be the slope. Okay, so don't confuse slope and the shape here. On this side, we don't call this slope. We call that the shape of the parabola. All right, and then finally, the slope point form. If you have a point, x1, y1, if you know a point of a graph, then you can have this. All right, so this is the form. And then on here, we have the factor form. So I don't know if you have learned about that. M and N are the x-intercept. Okay, so that's for grade 11 and grade 12. Now, why am I doing this? Because I just want you to have a general skill, like the linear and the quadratic are the two most basic function in math. In higher grade, in grade 12, you learn about more function, trigonometry function, exponential function, logarithmic function, rational function, radical function. Just learn about different functions. And then all of this will form a basis for going to university when you study calculus. They assume you are so familiar with all this function. All right. So let's start again with the linear one. I want it to be a long term, like you learn this now, and then you understand it, it will help you in grade 11, grade 12, and then in university, first year. Okay, so just memorize all this form. know the meaning, and then just know how to convert from one form to the other. We use capital letter here to represent they have to be whole number positive for A. Okay, we use small letter here, and each one have different meaning, and we use the common M. Okay, so let's look at the following example. I have three examples. Okay, if you are giving a slope and a point, you can find the equation. So given a M and a point, so this is x1, y1 when I have a point. So which form we use? Even though they ask you to use to write the answer in general form, you don't need to start there. Okay, let's start with the slope point form because I have a slope and a point. Slope point form say y minus y1 equal to m bracket x minus x1. Minus minus become a plus. The brackets and plus sign, minus sign, they are all significant in the form. So just follow the form. So this is my answer. I have an equation. Oh, so easy. All right. Now I change it to a general form. So to change it to the general form, first I can get rid of this 3. So multiply everything by 3. So that's one way. There's other way to do it too. Multiply everything by 3. Okay, let's try again. Multiply everything by 3. Okay, so there are two terms here. So each one multiply by 3. This is just one big term. You multiply by 3, the 3 and 3 cancel out. So you have that. All right. Now you can expand it to x plus 8. Now let's move everything to one side. Now you can put it on the left side or right side. If I put it to the left side, the 2x become negative. I want it to be positive. So let's put everything on the right side. 2x minus the 3y. Okay, here I add 15. So this is my final answer, okay, in the general form. Okay? Okay, so this work when you have given a slope and a point. Okay, if you put this in the calculator, right, like if you try to graph it, and you see you have the same graph. This is same as that, same. It's just different form, okay? So different form means they are the same thing, but just look differently. But they represent the same line. Given this information, there's only one answer. There's only one line that has the same slope passing through this point. Okay, a point and a slope define a unique line. Okay, let's try another questions. Okay, you can find a line when you are given 2 points. Okay, so how do we do it? First, you look at all the form. None of the form have 2 points. It's only slope point or like slope intercept. So you need slope. So how can I find slope? I have a slope formula. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, just ignore the technical problem. Okay, so m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so I have 12 over negative 8. So reduces to negative 4 over 3 over 2. Okay, so it's a negative number. And once you have that, you can just use the slope point form. Okay, you can take any point, this point or that point, and then you just write y minus y1 minus minus become a plus equal to slope and then x minus x1. So that's your answer. And then you just solve it in, put it in general form. All right. So I'm going to skip that for now. Let's move on to other questions. The last question. All right. So I have given information about some other line and then find an equation of a line relative to other line. For example, find an equation of a line that is parallel to this one and have the same y-intercept of that one. Okay, so these are general form. We learn about, okay, let's work with the general form. Okay, if I put it in the slope point form, a slope y-intercept form, I'll move these two on the other side, divide everything by b. All right, I find out this is my slope, this is my y-intercept. So that's the general formula, right? So y is equal to mx plus b. So therefore, I can use this shortcut. If I want to find a line that is parallel to this, I'm interested in the slope. So parallel meaning it's the same slope. Slope is negative a over b. So here, negative 3 over negative 6, right? Like a is positive, so the negative is stick it there. So it's give me half. All right, and then the y-intercept is negative c over b. So for this one, the same y-intercept. So negative of negative 3 over b. Here we go. So my answer, I have my answer. My answer is y equal to mx plus b. Here we go. That's my answer. Okay. To put it in general form, multiply. I saw a denominator 2, denominator 7. Okay. So the LCD, common denominator, is 14. So let's multiply every term by 14. Okay. This is what you will get. Okay. Half of 14 is 7. 3/7 over 14 is 6. And then move everything to one side. Now I have a general form. Okay, so I know the number keep disappearing is really annoying. All right, final example. Perpendicular. All right, so perpendicular is, we still looking at the slope. So the slope of this line is negative a over b. All right, negative 5 over negative 2. So it's 5 over 2. All right. A perpendicular slope to that is negative reciprocal, so negative 2 over 5. Here we go. Now, what is the x-intercept? When they give you x-intercept, they actually also give you another piece of information. X-intercept seems like you only have x, but you also have y, because you know what is x-intercept? It is when y is 0. So when they say x-intercept, it is actually negative 2, 0. They give you two pieces of information. When they say y-intercept, they also give you 0 and then the y-intercept. They give you two pieces of information. So don't forget that. Okay, so this is a alternate way to tell you they're giving you a point. Slope point. Use a slope point form. This is x1, y1. So therefore, I have y minus y1, which is 0, equal to slope x minus x1. Okay, so this is not, don't say this is slope intercept form. It is not. The slope intercept form doesn't have a bracket. This one has a bracket. So now, if you want to change it to slope intercept form, you can expand this part. Then you have the following. Okay, 2 times that, negative 4 over 5. From here, you know the information is you have a slope of negative 2 over 5 and you have a y-intercept of negative 4 over 5. Okay, so just some information you can derive from this slope point form. You get slope intercept form. But they probably ask you to a general form. So let's multiply everything by 5. Okay, so this is what you get. Okay, remember this is a product, so it's one big term. So you multiply by 5, you just get rid of the 5 in the denominator. Everything else remain the same. Now you can distribute this. Now this is, we will move everything to the left. So the final answer, 2x plus 5y. All right, this is a minus, so it will become a plus 4. This is my final answer in general form. Okay, so you heard, hopefully you learned something here. Learning about linear function. They have certain form. How come we need to study this form? Because there are other form, but then they don't have specific meaning. We put it in this particular form so that you can get the slope, y-intercept, or you can get a slope or a point. All right, and then you can change it to any other form you like. And this math skill will help you long run in grade 12 and when you study calculus and when you are in university. So make sure you know this as a foundation, as a basic skill. All right, goodbye.